Really quick before I start, I do want to preface it with you all have a scorecard like you did last year. Mr. Bryant from Finance and Administration created. It is the same model used as last year. You have a hard copy of that. And there's a hard copy of the FY 2020-2021 overview that is also contained in the spreadsheet electronically sent to you all. This is the first tab. It's a down and dirty of where the budget stands as of right now, the preliminary proposed budget that I will provide my narrative to you all on. And we gave you an electronic copy of the budget, as I mentioned, and each department or funding area, whether it's human services or economic development, are broken out by tabs to make it easier for you all to track or look through. So I did want to mention that. If you would, Mr. Bryant, could you please pull up the PowerPoint? Thank you, sir. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to keep it simple and I will read my budget narrative to you all and we can go from there. Greetings, Mayor Seibold, Vice Mayor Crozier, and honorable members of Covington City Council. On behalf of the City of Covington's administration, as your city manager, I stand before you with a preliminary fiscal year 2021 budget for your review and consideration. This budget process has been far from the norm due to COVID-19, our response efforts, and the subsequent impacts the virus has had on our local economy to date. While we are learning to adapt to a sense of a new normal, we are also working to plan for the continued uncertainty we will face in FY21 with our revenues from local taxing methods as well as state and federal dollars. The preliminary budget you've been provided is reflective of several things. One, no tax or rate increases, no usage of reserve funds, the fund balance, to balance this proposal, and careful effort was put in to preserve core city services as well as preserving funding for mandated efforts and contractual obligations. Focus was also placed upon critical support programs as we continue to brace for the unintended economic and socioeconomic impacts the virus may thrust upon us. We feel it is important to note that we anticipate coming to council at some point or points during FY21 to reassess the budget as we will be continually reviewing revenues and expenditures. I would like to highlight some of the core recommendations of this preliminary budget for you all. The city administration and I have developed the following recommendations. The proposed revenues and expenditures in this balanced budget are $17.6 million for the general fund. This is roughly $900,000 less than fiscal year 20's original budget for the general fund, and it actually reflects a $1.97 million difference from the actual request that departments submitted to city administration, to finance and administration, and myself as part of the budget process. Recognizing the need to afford ourselves greater budgetary flexibility as we work towards ongoing regulatory compliance efforts with our water and wastewater operations, we propose combining these enterprise funds to make one city utility fund. This will enable funds for needed repairs and projects to take place, as well as stave off any immediate rate increases. With the exception of Southwest Virginia Food Bank, League of Older Americans for Meals on Wheels, and the Allegheny Highlands Regional Library, most outside agencies were reduced a minimum of 10% based on prior fiscal year budget appropriations, unless their request was lower in FY21. Our school system, based on current information provided, has a proposed 10% reduction in FY21, making the recommendation funded amount at this time $2.9 million. The school's FY20 request was $12 million and the FY21 request was $11.9. However, their average daily membership, the ADM, reduced to 945 students, and their original FY21 based local request was 3.3. It is also important to note at this time there are core funding recommendations for health and human services. For the Allegheny Highlands Community Services Board, we propose a funding of $80,000. While this reflects just over a 13% cut to the original request this year, approximately 13.6, it does meet the 10% local contribution requirement. If approved, this organization will not require a waiver from the city. It is anticipated that in the coming months, as we work to come out on the other end of this virus and work toward economic recovery, demand will undoubtedly increase for the continuum of continuum of care services our CSB provides our citizens. With regards to Child Services Act funding, for FY21, we recommend their request be honored as is at just over $2 million with a local cost of $514,000. In an effort to preserve what is already a tight and leaner than usual city budget, the city administration recommends a cap on CSA costs at this time, and you will notice that that was emphasized that at this time. Funding remains at a minimal commitment level for various organizations the city contributes to for economic development efforts. As you all will remember, when we did our strategic planning effort, that was one of the things where we realized we have historically underinvested in as well. This is a core recommendation as organizations like the Allegheny Highlands Chamber of Commerce and Tourism, Allegheny Highlands Economic Development Corporation, and Roanoke Regional Partnership will be vital to our economic recovery with jobs and helping foster opportunity. With regards to major projects and infrastructure funding, the preliminary budget seeks to meet all contractual obligations relating to our multi-year planned and programmed VDOT projects such as Maple Avenue, monies for Rayon Bridge, and our required paving contribution. Recognizing the rising inflation and increasing costs of goods and services, a much-needed cost of living adjustment of 2.5% is recommended for all regular full-time employees. City employees have not received a cost of living adjustment to ensure pay keeps pace with inflation in 5 years, based on information provided during preliminary budget preparations. A cost of living adjustment sets our employees up for long-term success with regards to Virginia retirement system, Social Security, and ensures the wage one starts at remains at or near the equivalent, even without a bonus or raise. This effort saves money immediately and over time from the traditional longevity payment and still affords flexibility for something at the holidays based on revenues. At this time, this is a recommendation for council to consider as there are funds that can be programmed. I hope you all will consider the proposed preliminary budget for FY 2021 favorably, and I look forward to addressing any questions, comments, or concerns that you may have. Thank you.